सबक के साथ साथ एक्सप्रेशन पर भी ध्यान देना पड़ता है, तब जाके बात समझ
They said the most important thing in communication is to hear what isn't being said. Let's move ahead and understand these different faces, these different body languages. So sometimes when you are in the public and you say something, but your body language says something else. So let's look at one by one. So the first girl in the left, wearing a black dress. So what is she saying? She's saying not open to communicating. The reason is the folding hand, which she has done it. Okay, so this is called blockage. One. Let's look at the another guy who is wearing a aviator glass and headphone in the back in the behind and blue jeans. So what is he saying? Hiding something, but what? He's actually not making an eye contact with the person whom he has to speak. So what is he doing? He's hiding. He's not paying attention to the person whom he has to speak. Let's look at the another one who is, in the coat, in the suit properly. So he is looking hostile attitude, little insecure, aggressive, or the most important thing when he's folding his hand, this posture, this always shows that he is closing his brain. He's not open to the conversation. Closed mind. The correct term is called closed mind. That he's closed from his mind. He's not willing. Okay, fantastic. Let's move ahead to the another girl. Who is looking smiling, who looks interested, but actually she's in a defensive mode. When you are in this posture, that means you will be listening to that person for sure, but you will be listening that person to answer back. Often what happens, you're listening to the people with two reasons. One, to understand, and second, to reply back. If you are in this situation, that means you are feeling a little superior to yourself, that, oh, I know everything. That is the reason she's smiling. Okay. So this is called, defensive. Defensive means that you will be protected. If you say anything to this girl, she will, bounce back. She will retaliate. Okay. Let's look at the next guy who is in blue t-shirt and blue jeans. What is he saying? Thinks you are stupid. Because while you are communicating with somebody, okay, and he is putting his hands in the pocket, that means he is feeling himself super confident. He is feeling overconfident by knowing everything in the world. So he's not even attentive, or in short we can say impatient, that he's not willing. He's saying, oh, you say whatever you have to say, but I know what do I have to answer. So these are certain body language postures. So next, understand body language is a non-verbal communication involving body movement. People in the workplace convey a great deal of information without even speaking through gestures, postures, and expressions. I hope it makes very, very clear. Gestures, we just talked about. Posture, the way you sit. If you're sitting cross-legged, if you're sitting, without paying an eye contact, these are postures. We'll talk about these in more detail in following. And expressions. If you are talking to somebody, let's say a receptionist, if she's talking with you with an open smile, that's an expression of welcoming. If a person, let's say in the government offices, no offense to anybody, but if you go to the government offices, because they are already irritated, so they are not welcoming you for sure. Even if you visit any SBI bank nearby, they won't welcome you for n number of reasons, because they are anyways irritated. Okay, so that is another expressions. Body language includes gesture, posture, movements, and expressions that people or that person uses to communicate. That is something which you now understand. What is the percentage level of these elements? So very, very important. Verbal, we have 7%, to be very honest, because now in this dynamic world, people do not, I repeat, people do not go by with your words. They look at your vocal intonation. I mean, there is a movie also in PK, which clearly denotes the same thing.
तुम्हारी अम्मा का एक्सीडेंट हो गया? अच्छा
अच्छा हमको सिखा दिया है अच्छा
अच्छा, सबक के साथ साथ एक्सप्रेशन पर भी ध्यान देना पड़ता है, तब जाके बात समझ में आती
So these all are called intonation, pitches, pauses, where you use it. That is, now most important is your body language, which is 55% when it comes to communication. Why is body language so important? I'm sure this question would definitely come into your mind, because in day-to-day life, we do not follow all these body languages. But what do? We talk to the people and we communicate. And I think that's more than enough. But still, Why do we say body language is really, really important? And why do we say that it's really important? So let's understand. People remember more of what they see than what they hear. Very important thing. Now let's understand this point. When I'm saying now we are in the visual world, we do not like to hear things. We like to view things. Like, let's understand, if somebody is telling you something verbally over the tone, you might not recall it or you might not remember everything, every moment. However, if that thing is being told with a picturization, with a videography, so that thing will always stay in your brain, because visual stays longer than a voice. The best example is YouTube, because now in the YouTube, everything is visualizing. You can talk about social media. This is all visualizing, right? Let's look at another point. Long after a meeting, we are likely to have forgotten the exact words someone used, but we may retain a vivid image of some person's facial expressions. Okay, let's understand. And after looking this picture, I'm sure you'll be able to make out few things. So let's understand what is being written here. What we are trying to deliver through verbal means might not be exactly similar to what we are delivering from our non-verbal means. Let's suppose I am going to give you one example. Imagine you are very much occupied in your household work, and all of a sudden you see somebody or some guest at your door. I'm sure you anyways have to welcome them, but you are not willing because you are tired. You've been working throughout the day. Now, what do you have to do? You will be welcoming from your face or from your tone. However, your body language is not supporting. Reason, that's something which she is portraying here. That maybe she might say you are right, but with her expression, she is not accepting that fact. So those situations, imagine if you have, let's say, your favorite dish with you, and somebody asked you to share it. And as we've been told from our childhood that sharing is a good habit, we are going to share it, but of course, our body language would be different. We won't be happy enough to share it. We might share it, but our body will say something else. However, our tone of voice will say something. So these are few examples to understand how non-verbal communication and verbal communication is important. Believed, when verbal and non-verbal cues contradict one another. When I say cues mean, those are the hints. Okay, we'll talk about it. So the non-verbal cues are more likely to be believed. Non-verbal. Body language speaks even when you don't. Imagine you're sitting idle in your room and you're not happy. You are not saying a single word to your family. However, your family will still understand. They will come back to you and say, what happened? Why are you sitting sad? Or why are you, sitting all alone? The reason, your body language talks, even if you are not talking. Does it happen? Does this happen with you? All of you?